We live. So for those that are interested in my blueprint, you can reach out to me at oracleoftheether@gmail.com, and I'm going to get you together. You know what I'm talking about? Because apparently you can't find the words. And it starts by not listening to me, thinking you going to remake everything I say. You know what I'm talking about? You ever just be sitting and listening and wonder, do they want me to say that? Because this J-Cat repeats everything the Archangels want him to say. Greetings. I appreciate you. Really appreciate you for coming in and acknowledging me. So put a thumbs up on that. You know, I understand that I am displaying a different side of myself. When you hear someone say I'm multifaceted, that means they're skilled at a lot of different things. And it just comes naturally. You know what I'm talking about? You know, at one point, right, this is when I decided that my pendulum work was done. Because see, the difference between when I touch a pendulum and they touch a pendulum is healing. There's healing associated with that. It's funny how people see things and think it's easy. And they want to do it. But they don't have your skills, your knowledge, or your rank. But they force it. You ever see a square peg trying to fit into a round hole? Well, the thing about what I know about growth, right, spiritual growth, is it takes a lifetime, possibly several. You just don't know. But for some reason, people feel like it's just like opening your eyes. One day, I'm a baby stir, and the next, I'm a guru. You know what I'm about? Greetings, welcome to my members. The thing about having no connection at the bottom of your device is when you go on the www, you realize things. First, you say, well, if it's no connection, then my service must be off. That's a logical thinker, right? But then you say, no, it's paid up. Well, something must be wrong with the bowls or something. No, there's nothing wrong with the bowls. The beautiful thing about no connection is you start to realize things. You say, well, all of this stuff that I'm seeing here, where's this at? Is it where I'm at? No. Is it where they're at? Yes. You say, okay, I'm starting to understand the Hopi prophecy. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know originally it was only one? It seems like when they started documenting these paradigm ascension shifts, miraculously, we ended up with 10. But some only know about 5. And then when you're more advanced, you learn that there's 7. And then 10. 5, 7, 10. That doesn't seem like something we've heard before. 5, 7, 10 is usually 3, 6, 9, right? 5, 7, 10. Is that a mystical number? You start thinking, what is the makeup of numbers? What does that really mean? Is there a language where it's just numbers? Apparently so. You know, you can create a whole world with just numbers. People don't know that. I'm scrolling my timeline and I see something. I said, oh, this is interesting. You ever see someone channel and you say, this content makes you look better, even though we don't know who you are, but we know you be getting around. And since the elect ones are popular again, I'm starting to notice stars. Y'all seen any stars? Because I have. Now, speculation. It's a good and a bad thing. You can speculate and divert. Then you can speculate and you could be wrong. You know what I'm talking about? It's growth in both. When you see someone in a sincere state, do you say, I am going to profit off of this? Because they are. You ever see someone put their hands in your pocket? Because I have. You're just sitting there minding your business, trying to enjoy life, figuring out the access codes like 369, 517. And all of a sudden, your screen starts shaking, and you're like, what is that? Is they recording on the screen? Probably so. Because it's signs. You know what I'm talking about? It's signs all over the place. They don't know that. Your screen shakes when they start recording the screen. You know what I'm talking about? That is the man upstairs doing that, putting you up on frequency. Because if your screen starts shaking, that means somebody's frequency is off. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm just minding my own business, and I look down and I see no connection. I say, oh, is that right? That's a sign there. No connection. That means it's time to go live. You know what I'm talking about? So now, some are figuring out that no connection means you are viewing something somewhere else. Automatically, if you can view it. Because sometimes you see no connection is black and circles and all kind of other stuff happening. And you just wonder, have I done too much? Yes. Yes, you have. Because what I hear when I get off live is apparently flow, energy. What'd she say? I'm just gonna put it like this, because nobody sees her here. You did when you was there, apparently, but now you're somewhere else. You see how that works? You ever just say, someone didn't learn a lesson the first time? Just 5, 7, 10. That's a sequence. You know what I'm talking about? Ether puts out new angel numbers. Now, for some, when you see 5710, that's a red flag. And for others, when you see 5710, you're going to say, is that right? Now, for them, when they see 5710, that means they're somewhere else. You know what I'm talking about? It's levels. So, how many of y'all are good at mathematics? Because I am. You ever see someone trying to figure out how many zeros a billion has? Because I have. I've tried to figure out so many times. I said, how many zeros is there? Funny thing about when you're wealthy, you know it already. You know what I'm talking about? But people like me, all them zeros, I might pass out. You know what I'm talking about? Ether passes out from all the zeros. That's a headline. They trying to do me like that. They saying Ether is not popular enough yet. The YET. Yet. You think so? You ever seen someone trying to catch a coattail? Because I have. I see it every day. So I'm saying, who's watching me watch you? You feel me? Because the you world knows. They're watching. You know that they specifically watch certain beings because it's their J-O-B? You ever just realize you have astronomical protection? And you just don't know why. You don't know why. Because you need to reach out to me at oracleoftheether@gmail.com and book with me today. Some of y'all is waiting for that Aries, past life, present karma energy pull. I know y'all is. So you can see at me at PEKA69. So we can get it going. You know what I'm talking about? Because restrictions is real. You feel me? Restrictions. Some people don't know about restrictions. You know, you ever just say, maybe I should donate so I can look at Ether again? Because they have. Now, some things you see, especially when you're an empath, male, female, woman, man, and some animals, it hurts you. It be the oddest things. And it is because who they're doing it to, not what's happening, because apparently it's coming. But it's who they're doing it to that makes you feel some kind of way. So when you run into individuals like me and they take notice, that means you're a candidate for ascension. Because you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be. Obviously. And I know why you're there. But you don't. I know that that is a hard pill to swallow. Because he know about them pills. But it be like that sometimes. It's something about a man's growth specifically that some can't take. When they feel like they figured you out, they want you to stay that way. But this is a part of evolution for you to grow. You know, there's been some research that talks about in a man's 50s specifically, something is activated inside of them where they are harnessing that feminine aspect of their energy. That's a beautiful thing. But you know, you got masculine and feminine. And what that looks like is realization. Realization of life and the world. And sometimes it'll move you to tears. This is a fact. That because I'm observant, I don't see that as a red flag to make money. You know what I'm saying? That's just not how I work. I say that that is the right time for them to be with their spiritual spouse. That's what I say. Because they've been there and they've done it. They don't feel like they're missing out on nothing. You know, you don't have to struggle to be with them, to hear them, talk to them. It's just natural. The thing about that is somebody waiting. So you think. Are they waiting or are they living? Because some of y'all are already aware that the era where they feel like they need someone is not my era. That's not me. I don't feel like I need anyone but the Almighty. But sometimes you get in them modes where you just like, if I could just be with someone that understands me, it'll make it a lot easier. Not that I need them, I want them. And you just, your heart chakra opens up. You start illuminating. You know, you're walking around with stars all over your body. You can't see them though, but they can. Stars and money symbols are different. Some of y'all walk around and y'all see money symbols all over me. That's not what I'm talking about. I said that, and I said this in the reading about maybe 5 years ago, that someone that is for me had to be a retired G. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's just how it, you know what I'm saying? Because I just can't be with anybody. You know, you just look at somebody and be like, why are you here? All of a sudden. While we're on the topic of that, let me tell you, before I went abstinent, about 6 years, right? I said, I don't ever, do you hear me, Almighty, want to be in a relationship, ever. EVER. I did not give not one ox. You know what I'm talking about? I said, I could be at the lowest of the low. And I still don't want to be with him. You ever just come to that realization? Then you minding your business, working on your enterprise, and everybody say, she quiet. And every time they see me, my head is down on the phone. I'm doing things. I'm not trying to be seen. Matter of fact, I'm looking at my phone so you don't think I'm looking at you. You know what I'm talking about? That's where I was in my life. Now, the fact that I had a whole hoop there made it even better. You know what I'm about? They're not looking at me. I'm not looking at them. You feel me? You just say, I'm going to put all of this energy here into my path. Does it take a lifetime? So you start building. Then you start noticing things. All the people in your age bracket, give or take 10 years, it's different. So you say, wow, they're going through what I'm going through, they just don't know it. And you say, I done been with this type of person, I done been with that type of person. I said 6 years because that's how long it was. And you start saying, okay, I experienced this. That's not what it is. But you ever just decide that you want a businessman? Because I did. I want somebody that work in office, put on a suit every day. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I want. And then voila, the Almighty drops them right in my lap. And they like me. You know what I'm saying? That's a plus. Because they like you. That means they want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? Then you find out that they do illicit things. And you're like, wait a minute. Your lifestyle does not match what I've been taught. You must be functional. So this is what they talking about? You ever just be around somebody that get a lot of attention, but it's from bottom feeders? You just like, I'm not like them. But because you ain't got no money, they can't tell. You know what I'm talking about? You ever just be around the man that smokes? And you just realize everybody done screwed him. So he think he can screw everybody. Apparently, that's what you thought. But it didn't happen with me. So, you're thinking, I'll have a little fun. Then you realize somebody that's been flirting with you is their brother. That kind of changes things. You know how somebody gives hints and innuendos? It's a whole lot. And they don't be like accurate, but you're not trying to clear it up. They may say something like, I know who that is, bruh. And the way they say it is like they done been inside them cheeks. And then all of a sudden, the energy changed. You know what I'm talking about? The energy be changing. They ain't answer the phone no more. I don't care if you got a rack in your hand. Wait a minute, what happened? I thought we was cool. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, we not. Because somebody done put an innuendo in there. And it wasn't fair. You know what I'm saying? But I attribute that to a male being around a whole bunch of bottom feeders and figuring you one of them. You know what I'm talking about? Funny how zeros change that. You know what I'm talking about? Now, before they get to saying, I want either to lose everything and her car, because they sending their sisters, we gonna keep it funky. When I said it's reverse, that meant everybody around you better duck. You know what I'm talking about? My reversal's HIT different. You feel me? Because I know what is needed. Because when you spend a lifetime having to windmill for your family, you start realizing I'm protected, but maybe my family ain't, the biological one. So you start saying a whole bunch of things. Because you start noticing the wear down. Like them Jordans. You ever see somebody with your shoes and say, where my shoes went? I had something like that. Because I have. When they want to walk a mile in your shoes, they're talking about literally. So, when everybody see them stars, they gonna say, that's you. That's what I'm prophesying. They gonna say that's you. You know how when somebody finally realizes they play too much, and it's always with the wrong ones? You know what I'm talking about? Out of everybody in the world, you want to play with me. You're not smart, stupid. The thing about my perceived fall is I was at the top already. So, you know what I'm saying? When you fall, you're at the bottom, you really ain't got nowhere to go. You feel me? But the difference between my fall and theirs is its levels. You know what I'm talking about? When you start to realize you done went all the way from down there, yep, to all the way up here at the top, it's levels, 5, 7, and 10. You know, it's a saying that's popular in the Bay. They don't think fat meat greasy. Well, how come? Because fat tends to be greasy, right? Someone is saying right now, if I could just listen to Ether all day, I have a book that would sell. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, what is this? Oh, what is this? Oh my goodness. What is happening here? Oh, it's aggression in the air. Poor little Poochie. I said Poochie, not Pookie. You know what I'm talking about? Some things I see. Oh, well, that's descriptive. Oh my goodness. They done sat down. They done sat down, y'all. They done sat down. This live hit different. Oh, wow, she's loud. Um, you ever just realize that someone you think is clean is not? Like, his levels to being clean. Oh, wow. There's a lot of apostasy in the air. You know how when you shift, that stuff happens? You know, you ever realize that someone brings a lot of chaotic energy? You just be fine, and then you talk to them or you see them. Almighty forbid they sit in your ride. Things start not working. You ever just been with somebody and all of a sudden something don't work in your car? Because I have. Now that we got that out the way, the other day was a day where a lot of stars had to stay inside. Now, my day may be behind yours or before yours. We don't know because it's time zones, you know what I'm saying? You ever just get prepared and you don't know that you're preparing to not go anywhere? Because I have. Oh, what's that? It's a lot of buzzing going on. Philippines. Philippines in the house. You ever just watch some interesting news and you realize something? Because I have. They don't know about the East and North Seas, but I do. Right around Milpitas. Is this going down? You know what I'm talking about? You ever see something and say they thought that that was a good plan? Turns out it wasn't. Sometimes you learn by experience. You learn what you can do and who you could do it to. I seen some things that made me say, that's not right. I can't put my hand on it, right? But everything in my being is saying, that's not right. I may have seen it 1,001 times, and it didn't move me until I seen that. And you start wondering, who knows who? It's no longer why me. You start thinking, was this an inside job? Because they do. You know, when you put a mask on, you got to make sure they don't see the color of your skin. You know what I'm talking about? Just in case. You feel me? I when I came on, because at this point, I know the signs, because at a certain level, you don't get signs. You got to follow your intuition, you know. And what I mean by you don't get signs is like you don't fathom them. They're there, but you don't know it's a sign. So since this individual feels like he now realizes signs, because he didn't yesterday, you know what I'm talking about? He can say that he is not an elected one. On wax. You know what I'm talking about? They don't like that. The men, Arkansas, they don't like that. They don't like people accusing them of being them and then saying they're one of them. It just don't make sense. There's nothing in that doctrine that will point to you ascending to become an archangel. Some people can't fathom that arch is a higher title than arch. And that's why it's not well known. Sobre de Natashi is the highest. That means you up there with the Almighty doing what you do best, footwork. You know what I'm talking about? It's not just as simple as to write down the information. You're supposed to share it. Y'all wasn't doing that with Rashid Jamal. Y'all was sharing his stuff. You didn't do that with Young Pharaoh. Sarah, you didn't do that with Sun Seti. You feel me? Why y'all like that with me? They giving you the knowledge. And I'm telling you why it's like that. It's levels. You see how we all coincide? We all work together. But for some reason, you feel like they don't know who I am. You know what I'm talking about? When you in the conscious community, especially at the time when I entered, there's not many that are on that level that don't know who ether is. Now they may say that's Mabandusa Karoho, because that's what they know me as. But you don't know that. You ever just realize that you spoke Kaswahili? It seems like that's a sign. Some things can move you at one level, and then at the other, you're not interested. You know what I'm talking about? It was good for that phase, but this one, you know, you need a little bit more. Zhuzh it up a little bit. What I'm noticing is these particular uploads, they're finding it difficult to copy. I wonder why that is. Somewhere someone's saying my level was fine for me. And that's a good epiphany. You know what I mean? But you can't go back. I'll tell you that right now. Because up until this point, you were saying just like the rest of them, put me where ether used to be. And when you got put there, you didn't like it. Go figure. How to stay in your own lane, 101. You know anything about that? Because apparently, you want to veer over into everyone else's lane and think nobody knows. You ever just see someone driving and you figure,